Hi, this is Lucy, your clarity coach, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to the ongoing time series. In this time series, I shall endeavor to help you be able to plan your goals well. I'll be able to help you to set your alignment well. I'll be able to help you figure it out, at least with tools in your private and in your professional lives, in your personal and in your career journey. I endeavor to give you 5 proven tools that I have used in the past and that they continue to work for me today. The first one that I shared with you was a tool in urgency versus importance. It's so important for us to know the difference. What is urgent? What is important in our lives? Because this plays right into time, the time that we have. And I quoted William Penn saying that time is what we want most, but it is what we use the worst. And this is a reality in life. So helping you in this series to help you understand what it is that you need to be doing with the goals that you have set and perhaps how to set them. So in our first episode, I shared with you a tool that I have used and I continue to use. It's got quite a mouthful. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix. And I took you through the 4 quadrants. And if you missed that edition, just go on to my YouTube page, Lucy LMC Consultancy, and have a look there and just see the 4 quadrants and give me some feedback. Which quadrant are you finding is very relevant in your life today? And let's get talking. If not my YouTube page, then come here to Instagram and just look at my feed and look at all the information that I gave you as a takeaway in that first episode. Well, today's episode is no different. We're still looking at time. Remember, it's a time series, and time, we only have 24 hours in a day. Some people can stretch, some people can bend it, some people can hide it, steal it. Whatever it is that you do with your 24 hours, I encourage you to learn strategies that you can maximize this 24 hours on so that you get rid of time wasters and things that are going to derail you up to a point where you actually don't know what you were meant to be doing, yet you started off the day on such a high note. So goal mastery is going to allow you to step into that place. What kind of goals are you looking at in your life? It could be something as simple as your hair goals. It could be something as simple as your clothes goals. It could be something as simple as your studying goals. Whatever it is, your nutrition goals. Today I'm going to share with you one tool that has worked so well for me. So that'll be episode 2. Episode 3, which is now in the 3rd week of July, we'll be looking at time block success. Have you ever wondered, some people are just so organized. I mean, every time they say they're going to do something, 9 out of 10 times they deliver. And yet you were brought up together. You're of the same peer class, the same age set, the same religion. And you're wondering, how come this person always gets it right? Or they're disciplined, they're determined, they're consistent. These are all learned skills. And one tool that I will share with you in the time blocking will give you success. But all you need to do is do the work, guys, because then if it's just theory for you, then you will still remain that person who looks at other people who seem to have it so organized in their lives, even if they're not making what you think they should be making. For example, making money in their lives, every other aspect of their life is just so well organized. Well, it's the time block success that I'll be taking you through in our 3rd episode. In our 4th episode, procrastination busters. Now, I am a self-affirmed procrastinator. I am a recovering procrastinator. Let me just say that right there. Sorry that it keeps on running off there. We're back again. If you know me, if you've been listening to me, you will realize that actually, I've always called myself a recovering procrastinator. And I've always invited you to just consider, where is it that you keep on wanting to do something, but you are being stopped from doing it, not by anybody else, but basically by you. You're holding yourself back. So maybe you wanted to read a book in this month of July. And today is the 9th of July. You haven't even bought the book. Yet somebody else with you that you had decided to do this together is already well into the chapters and sharing these stories with you. You are procrastinating. And once you identify it, once you name it, you're able to tame it. Now that you're a procrastinator like me, I kick into my, what do you call it, professional perfectionism, as I call it, professional perfectionism, as I call it. And what is it? I want to do something. I'll give you a perfect example. This morning I was working on proposals, and this is proposals for training. And I should have clicked the send button on my email, but guess what? It's sitting in my draft since early this morning. Why? The perfectionist in me has come in and caused the procrastination. I have gone through this document enough times. I'm crossing my T's, I'm dotting my I's, because that thing in me still wants this document to be perfect. There's a fear that's standing between me and pressing send. But I know it. I know it. I name it. I own it. And therefore, I'm working towards it. Hopefully, I will have sent it by 6 o'clock this evening, because the other person doesn't know that I'm battling with this. And this is my procrastination. When I say I'm a recovering procrastinator, it's not going to go 24 hours before me sending it. It's just that I am yet to get to that point where I write something right now on an email and I press send. And if I ever am under pressure to press send, I'll keep on wondering, I could have said this. Why didn't I say this? I did this thing wrong. Now you see, they never understood me because you never went through it, Lucy. So I manage my own expectations. That's my procrastination. That is my reality. But I still move forward. Don't get me wrong. Although I'm a recovering procrastinator, self-acclaimed recovering procrastinator, it doesn't stop me from doing what needs to get done. So how about you? In what situation are you in where you find you're unable to do this thing? Start asking yourself the questions. Why is it? My why is perfectionism. That's my why. Maybe your why is that you love people and you want them to love you back. So you're not going to do that thing for yourself. You're going to do it for other people, which is really selfless. But it doesn't help if you're not nourishing your own soul so that you can be there for other people. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Maybe you're somebody who is suffering from a condition that stops you from going all the way. So you start something, you're excited, but when it gets to actually execution, it's not easy. So this is the mid-time of the year where we're looking at, did we execute what we promised ourselves in January? Or are we still talking about it by the fireside? This is what I want to do. My plans are, the kind of money that I'm putting away. You tell a good story, but there's no execution. Is that you? If you just embrace it, own it, give it a name, that is now the beginning of maturity to overcome it. It'll never go away 100%, but you'll know how to manage it. And it does bring peace. And you will find there's a difference in your life. So last but not least, our last episode this month is going to be on mastering your schedule. Being able to know that you can do something so effortlessly, so seamlessly as you move from one thing to another. You want to have a calendar that speaks to your life. That even if you look back over the year, you're able to have down memory lane with the things that you put in your calendar. In January, I did this on the second Tuesday of the month. Things that you don't want to forget, things that are going to help you measure your growth. I learned a skill. I learned a habit. I did away with an addiction. I was able to visit the sick. I was able to help somebody. These are things that are so great at the end of the year for you to just go back and say, whoa, look what I did. It's not possible if you don't master your schedule. It's not possible if you don't put it all down. And I know you're going to say to me, but Lucy, how about if I'm not the kind of person who likes to document writing in a journal? What about photographs? One of the things that I have done this year in my vision board is I realized that in the year past and the year before, I was not taking time out for myself to nurture myself. I'm a life coach, and therefore I love to be there for other people. But I can only be there for other people if my cup is overflowing. So I came to realize that late last year when I experienced burnout. And when you see my work every day, I'm smiling, I'm happy, but inside I was experiencing burnout. So there's two things that I decided to do this year on my vision board, and I'm proud to say that I have stuck the course. The first one was that every month I was going to have a reflective date with myself. So since January, I have had a date with myself. Where is the accountability? I have taken a reel of where I am and exactly what I was reflecting about, and I've shared it with you on my stories. That was my way of being accountable to myself first, and then to you that I speak to every Tuesday, and I speak of these truths. I am living it. That was the first thing. So every month I have a date with self, and I have an objective for that date with self. This month it's about finding time for love, to embrace love, to empower people with love. So that's what I'm going to be reflecting on when I sit for my date this month. The second thing was taking time out. Now, being a sole entrepreneur, I end up working 13 months in a year. Yes, you heard that right. 13 months in a year. That means I am really gunning down for burnout. So what have I done in my vision board is I've given myself 3 months in the year, and this is the first year that I'm doing it, where I just step away from everything, literally step away from everything. I started in April. For the month of April, I stepped away. August is coming up. You will not be seeing any Tuesday Talks at 3 in August. I'll have stepped away. And then come December, I will do the same thing. And I found that in the month of April, there was such clarity that came as a result of just taking a mental health break. And I know the challenges of this if you're an entrepreneur like me. What I was fighting with, then I'm not going to make any money. If I don't make any money in April, then how? Because I've not reached the point of passive income. So maybe you also have not reached the part of passive income, but you're finding that you have to work and you keep on that proverbial wheel. You're going to burn out. And this is what mastering your schedule is all about. Understanding that pattern that you have and working towards making it better. Well, I look forward to that particular episode, which is going to be the last one in July before I go for my mental health break. Then I am back in September. I will miss you all, but here we are. You will always have LMC Consultancy YouTube to just go over all the other series that you have missed. So the question for today, like any other day, is how specific and intentional are your actions? And I'd love for you to share here. Lovely to see you here, Jerry Washira. Lovely to see you. Oh, Georgette, great to see you here. Mr. Organic is here with us. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today and keeping me company. It is a time series, and today we're looking at the goal mastery. And therefore, with this question, how specific and intentional are your actions? I want to now take you on a journey of this one tool that has worked so well for me. And this tool is called the SMART framework. If you've heard about the SMART framework, you know it's an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic, if not realistic, relevant, and then time-bound. So that's S-M-A-R-T, SMART framework. For those of you who are hearing it for the first time, take out your pen and paper and start writing down these notes. You see, setting SMART goals, because that's the framework, is a game changer. It was a game changer for me. And yet, I was a stickler for time. I was a stickler for planning. Where I failed is I made the plans, but at the end of the day, I did not work the plan until I came across this SMART framework. I don't want you to overthink it, because when I say game changer, you might be going to something huge, like acquiring this company, or traveling to, is it 7 months in a year? Those are great dreams and those are big dreams. I want us to start small and then build up incrementally. So whatever that small thing is for you, it could be about prayer. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you've never timed yourself. This is the time to time yourself so that you can measure the growth Smart. It's a smart goal. So if you start the timer and you finish your prayer, and maybe it is 10 minutes of prayer, then maybe you want to look at increasing your prayer by 5 minutes. That could be what you want to do. 5 minutes over a specific period of time. So you'll be asking yourself, is this specific? Yes, it's specific. We are increasing by 5 minutes for the next 3 months. It's very specific. Is it measurable? Yes, it is measurable. Because you can tell with your timer, yes, you've increased from 10 minutes to 15 minutes. If not only your timer, after 3 months, you're able to say, whoa, the 3 months are done and this is what I did every day or every other second day or every week or every Sunday. This is what we call defining our goals. What is it that you want to do? Start small. Start small. See your wins. Work from your wins. See your challenges. Work from the lessons of your challenges. Very small. So both in your personal and your professional life, this is very relevant. This is something that you can do. So instead of saying something that is vague like, I want to improve my skills. It's a great goal, but it's really ambiguous. If you put it against a SMART framework, you fail horribly. So instead of saying, I want to improve skills, you want to say, I want to complete an online course in whatever, let's say project management, within 3 months. You've actually said the same thing. I want to improve my skills. So your skills are going to be on the project management. That means you've decided already you're going to do an online program. It's more specific than an ambiguous, I want to improve my skills. Something to think about. Setting a goal of, I talked about reading a book earlier on, of like reading 2 books a month for self-improvement is a powerful thing, because then you can measure it. Did you really read 2 books? Or did you read more or less than 2 books? And over what period of time? How long did it take you? You can start to pace yourself. And that's in your personal life. In your professional life, you could say, I want to increase my sales target by 10% in 6 months. It is measurable. It's specific. Is it relevant to your business? It is. You want the revenue. Is it time bound? Yes. After a certain time, it actually suggests that you finished doing what you're meant to be doing. You can extend the time. That's the beautiful thing about the rubber band effect. You can extend your time. So in this way, you have defined a goal. And I hope just this helps you to understand how the SMART framework can work for you if you've never heard of it before. And if you've heard of it before, this is then a reminder for you that there are certain things you need to revisit on your goal. Just go back and revisit, and you may realize that you are saying things like improve skills, as opposed to saying, I want to complete an online course in project management for self-improvement. Well, the question today still remains, how specific and intentional are your actions? I'd love for you to share it here on the thread so that I can sample what it is that you're sharing. Now that we've defined the SMART framework and we are in the understanding of the 5 areas of the SMART framework, it's time to set. Because defining is one thing, that is very theoretical. We want now to start setting, really, this is where the rubber meets the road. We start splitting the hairs. What does it mean? Because then you may be asking yourself, how can these goals enhance my personal growth? How? So you're relating them to yourself. You see, what we need to do is mapping. And like I've mentioned in another Tuesday Talks at 3, mapping worked so well for me. I've got that kind of a mind where I'm very visual and I need to map things for them to make sense. When I was studying in school, I used mind maps. So you'd give me a topic, I'd listen, I'd read, and I'd come back on a blank sheet of paper and I would draw all these circles and make a connection. This way the learning was really harnessed into my mind, and it made it easier for me to have total recall on what I had learned because I remember the mapping. I'm visual. I find that when I read, it's too heavy for me, but the more pictures that I have and less words, this learning sits with me. So what kind of a learner are you? One size does not fit all. You may be a totally different learner where you read and you need to have statistics, you need to have research. That's super heavy for me. I'm that kind of person who goes online and looks for a summary of a book. I mean, you can see my books up there. Those are books I read a long time ago. Today, When I'm reading a book, I'm looking to see what is the objective, what is the learning outcome, what can I get out of this, and I enjoy the book better. And then came audiobooks. Oh, I'm in seventh heaven now. Now I listen to my audiobooks as I'm walking, as I'm driving, as I'm just lounging in the house. So coming back to mapping. Mapping is very simple, and if you can just watch my hands here, this is where you are, this is where you want to be. Those are 2 points that you are plotting. Now this road, wherever it is, curved, upside down, the connection between these 2 spots is that journey. The journey that we're going to travel as we set these SMART goals. So it's intentionally setting it so that I can move from here to here. You want to be as specific as you can as you consider what could go wrong. Consider what could go well. Consider who do you want to be with you on this trip. Consider what kind of person does it need you to be? What resources do you need? What support do you need? I mean, this list is endless, and it is important that I spell them out for you, because many a times we make a roadside declaration like we did on the 31st of December of 2023, that this is a new year, this is what I'm going to do. Very roadside, but it's not specific, and you're not setting your plans. Then you wonder in July, how come this did not happen? Or maybe a loved one told you, this is the year, my love. This is the year we're going to do X, Y, Z. But that loved one did not follow up with a game plan, did not follow up with setting this plan, and in this way, using this framework, SMART framework. It helps you. You see, in short, every choice you make comes with its own pros and cons. There's going to be a good thing to that thing you decided, and there's going to be a bad thing. But this is a summation. This is the journey. If everything was just a straight line, life would be so boring. The ups are going to give you successes which you're going to learn from for best practices. The downs are going to give you lessons out of those challenges. So we talk about thorns and roses on this bed. So where are you today in this July of the year 2024? What kind of thorns do you have in your bed, and what kind of roses do you have in your bed? Are you smelling these roses, and are you learning from these thorns? This is you setting your SMART goals using this framework. So if you were saying creating a fitness plan to maybe run 5K in the next 6 months, there are certain things you have to start doing today. Just because you have proclaimed this goal and you've set it, doesn't mean it's going to happen, just happenstance or by magic. Now that you have said this, there are certain things you have to be aware of. Maybe you need to go for a medical checkup to see whether you can really run that 5K in 6 months' time. Maybe you want to go to the gym and start, working on your cardiovascular. Perhaps you want to change your diet so that you have more protein in you, it gives you more fuel to run the distance. Maybe you want to look at your diary and just look at your schedule. You might have decided you want to do this in the next 6 months, to run a 5-kilometer race, and yet you're going in for a promotion and it's going to be traveling. And if that is so, then what does that mean for you? I remember when I used to travel for work, and I love walking, the decision of where I was to stay when I'm away was based on, was there a walking circuit? Because there's a game plan. It's not going to be an excuse now that I traveled, so I'm not going to be able to walk. So what about you? What is that one thing you've decided, but now you're using excuses of the opportunities in life not to do it? Oh, but now I got a baby the other day. Oh, I got a new job the other day. Now I've got a car, so I need to be driving in traffic. I cannot do this. Those are excuses that you're using. Instead of that, flip it and make it into an opportunity. How can this help you achieve that goal of yours, whatever that goal is? So that is setting SMART goals. The question still remains, guys, and I was hoping that I would see some communication going on here. How specific and intentional are your actions? How are you shooting that shot? Is it just theoretical, or is it practical? Well, we move on to the third aspect, which is integrating the SMART framework into your life. So we've already defined we've already set. Now we want to integrate it in the same way that I told you. The decisions that I used to make when I traveled were based on a few things. And one of them is there a walking circuit. I don't run, I walk. The other reason is there a church somewhere, a Catholic church? I'm a practicing Catholic, where I can go and pray. These are things that then would be part of my decision making. They wouldn't be there if I had not used my SMART framework and been very specific and intentional about my actions. So, setting SMART goals, I said, is a game changer. I said the specificity of it is that it gives you direction and motivation. Lastly, I'm aligning these goals with my broader objectives, whatever my broader objectives are. It could be that I have a career plan today, yet I find myself here in this season. I then want to find out this season, what are the plans and objectives around it? Let me give you an example. This is a practical example. In my time, I've interviewed quite a few people for positions working for me or working for associations. And in the interviews, I would always gauge this individual, what are their value systems? What is it they're looking for? What are their objectives in life? And then comes now the killer question when I ask them, so those are your objectives, those are your values. What are the values of this company that you would like to work for? And I'm telling you, more than 50% of people at this point couldn't answer because they hadn't done their homework. They were coming to work for the reason of money, which is a good reason, but it's not sustainable. How about you integrate the reason of money along with your own career objectives? Understanding that if I did something in this way at this time, that means taking a job at this company, I will advance my objectives. So the examples are, you may be, and actually I'm going through this right now, you may be an intern somewhere and you want to work for a specific company. I would ask you, in your career objectives, where does this company come in? And you may come back and tell me, I want to start with customer service. And once I build on customer service, I want to go into sales and marketing. Once I'm in sales and marketing and I've done that, I want to go into finance. Once I'm in finance, then I want to go into governance. That is somebody who has mapped their life. This is where they are. This is where they're going. This is the journey they're taking. Along this journey, they're going to meet you, me, companies, and so much more. And they are going to be aligning themselves. They're going to integrate themselves into these opportunities. They're going to be able to say no to certain job offers and go for another one because it aligns with what they're planning. I hope that helps you in your personal and in your professional life. Well, we've come to the end of our session today, and the question was, how specific and intentional are your actions? It is my hope that with the examples that I've given you of this tried and tested framework, the SMART framework, you can already plug and play right away. There's something that you want to be doing, but you've not been doing it. For whatever reason that you've not been doing it, revisit it. Revisit it and test it against the SMART. You will have a great opportunity to understand what is going on. So remember that well-defined goals not only guide you, they guide your efforts. And they give you this clarity and motivation to go on. So setting SMART goals helps all of us to have clarity. The 3 takeaways for today are very simple. Define, set, and align. And everything else will fall into place. It was actually Buddha who said, the trouble is you think you have time. You do not have time. The time is running out and it's only 24 hours in a day. Use your SMART framework to help you. It has helped me. So may this SMART framework be your go-to every time that you plan. May it be your portion. Well, the recording of this episode will be up on our YouTube channel, which is LMC Consultancy. Hop on there, hit the subscription button. You know what to do. Share, and leave a comment for me. Our social media platforms will continue to keep you informed and inspired and motivated. A lot of things have been happening in my life in the last 10 days. Hop on there and just see these exciting things, how I've been impacting people's lives And the takeaway is I am super fulfilled, and I would do those 10 days over and over again. You can find us here on Instagram and on Facebook as Lucy_your Clarity Coach, or LinkedIn as Lucy Macridis, or TikTok as Clarity Coach Lucy. Now, season 2, episode 2 of my podcast is out. If you don't have it yet, drop me a message right here, and I'm going to send you the link on DM so that you can listen to it. My daughter is there as my guest, and there we are talking about conflict resolution, and I'm giving you some tips when it comes to negotiation. It's an exciting place today, so please make sure you hop on there or just drop me a DM right now. I'm looking forward to our next session next week. As I mentioned to you, that our next session is going to be on time block success. Let us help build one another. Until then, be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.